Here's Brody Brazil.
We now know the matchup for Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. They're back in the title game for the first time since 2020, taking on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I know. This is where I'm starting. And look, eventually we will get to a proper Super Bowl preview video here on this channel, the full setup and breakdown and all of the interesting facts and angles and perspectives. That will come in the days and weeks ahead. But I feel like because the Taylor Swift angle of the Super Bowl is bound to happen, it's literally going to start tomorrow, it's going to go for a couple weeks, it's going to persist for far too long, I actually want to set the tone and the example here. Yes, let's bring it up, let's address it, and then let's move on from it and not turn back unless we absolutely have to. So let's begin with this, and all of it is my personal perspective and take and opinion on this. Number one, Taylor Swift, I realize, may not be your thing. I mean, she might be your thing if you're watching this channel, you clicked on this video, you thought it was interesting, that's cool. But it's also fine if she is not your thing. Her image, her persona, her music, personality, decisions, whatever she's done doesn't really matter to me. It's fine if she's just not your cup of tea. Or even if you're somewhere in the middle of all this, that's fine too. I totally realize it. And if that's all you needed to hear, and you're just ready to end the video and move on, no problem. See you next time. But I want to spell out here, there is a difference between being annoyed by her presence at football games in the recent weeks and months and being actually angry at it, to the point where fans have done some pretty awful things and said some pretty awful things on social media and interviews and in public situations. There's really no need to get actually angry about this, even if, right, in this case, you're a 49ers fan and she's opposing you and who she's pulling for. There is really no reason to take it to the level of anger. I mean, what are we exposed to here? A couple clips on social media, her on the sidelines, her in a press box, her walking out of a stadium, her flying into a new city to watch the next game that her boyfriend Travis Kelce is playing in, or cutaway shots during the broadcasts. So what? In fact, you may have caught her in the AFC Championship game. I think she said something like, oh, move on, or go away. That's what she said. She was watching a screen. They were coming back from commercial. She saw herself on the screen and she said, go away. Wouldn't you know it, a second later, the camera shot dissolves away to the actual game action. Now, maybe it was bound to do that anyway. Even she is a little bit past that at this point. They don't need to be showing her every single game or quarter or whatever. But the point is, for us viewing this and being exposed to it, so what? Does that really bother you that much? Because if it does, may I simply suggest some introspection. There's a lot of people out there that all of us don't like. And maybe you don't want them to pop up in your favorite situation watching a football game on Sunday. But so what? Again, let's go back to that difference between annoyance and anger. It's probably okay to be annoyed, probably not okay to be angry at this. And yeah, you can throw the criticism her way. She's a new fan. She's a casual fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but before this year, I never had any connections between her and football, her and the Kansas City Chiefs, or her and the NFL. Not much going on there before this year when her relationship started, and that's totally fine. She has a legitimate rooting interest in watching her boyfriend play on the team, hoping they win, hoping success for the Kansas City Chiefs. Great. It's interesting because most fans, I think, have the favorite team, which involves favorite players, but in her case, it's a favorite player, which is related to the team he's on. But if you think a casual fan is kind of a diss, and you know what, it might be sometimes if if you look at another fan and say, you're not a real fan, you're a casual fan. Well, you know what's even below the casual fan, in my book? Are bandwagon fans. And when a team heads to the Super Bowl, it doesn't even matter if it's the 49ers or Chiefs or Rams or whoever, Patriots over the years, at some point, extra fans come out of the woodwork. Oh, I've been a so-and-so fan all my life. Oh, really? Name 20 players on this year's team. In fact, name 10 players on this year's team. Or name 10 players from 2 years ago when they weren't that good and headed to the Super Bowl. Bandwagon fans is an annual effect of any team that goes to the final rounds of playoff series. And it doesn't matter if it's the World Series of Baseball, the Stanley Cup of Hockey, the NBA Finals. Like in every sport, the teams that go the farthest eventually have the bandwagon base jump on. But she at least has not been a bandwagon fan this year. She's a casual fan and a new fan. But you can't say that she's been a bandwagon fan. She didn't just jump on this and start going to games because, oh, we're going to the playoffs. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. You actually have to at least give her that. She's been showing up pretty regularly all season when the Super Bowl was not assured or guaranteed. There's also the thought about football that if it is king, and I do believe attention-wise and ratings-wise and money-wise and business-wise these days and for the last decade or so, football has been king. The NBA is second, Major League Baseball is third, and the NHL is fourth. But football and the NFL, they love attention. Some have even said and speculated and suggested that the AFC Championship game was rigged to get Taylor Swift to the Super Bowl. I don't know about that, but I will tell you that in a Super Bowl situation, with that many eyes and ears on the game and the setup and the execution of the game, there's no rigging going on of the Super Bowl. But let's just say the NFL doesn't mind her probably being in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium for this game. The NFL loves the attention of her presence all season long. I'm not going to question that. But if you're going to be king, as the NFL is, you're going to cast your net to the widest audience. You're going to get everybody, not just a little cross-section of fans here or there in certain markets around the country. You're going to get a lot of fans from a lot of places all over the world. Fans of all backgrounds. Entertainers. Multi-billion-dollar entertainers like Taylor Swift might be a fan of one of your teams or one of your players in this case. And the thing about fans of the NFL, if you can stand those who come to games or fight at like tailgate parties, if that's okay. Or how about fantasy owners and all they do is talk about their fantasy teams? They couldn't give a rip about the game they're watching outside of, their running back or their wide receiver or their quarterback or their team defense, whatever. If you're okay with people who go to games and fight or people who don't care about the game other than trying to make money off it with betting and wagers, or how about fans that are total flip-floppers? Wait, you're a Buffalo Bills fan the other day and now you're a New York Giants fan or a Jets fan, or you know what I'm saying? Like, we all know somebody like that who, wait a second, a year or two ago, that's not the colors you were wearing. That's not the team you were pulling for. If you can stand all of those types of fans, but you're telling me it's not okay for Taylor Swift to go up in a luxury box and on the field after the game and just kind of mind her own business? If you can accept all of that, in my opinion, you got to make some room for Taylor Swift, even if, like I said before, she's not your cup of tea. So again, I get it. This is going to go on now for 2 weeks. The 49ers and Taylor Swift. Oh, yeah, and Travis Kelce and Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. What if it, by the way, was the Lions and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Would it have been Eminem versus Taylor Swift? Would there have been a diss track between one or the other? In fact, I know which way that would have gone. But look, my point is, this is going to go on for far too long. I'm not saying any more about it, but I do want to at least lay the groundwork of how I think this should be approached. And yeah, we should just let it go. Wait, that's a Frozen song. That's not a Taylor Swift song. It doesn't matter. But after this, like, now that we've established it, okay, she's going, it's part of the situation, there's really not a lot more to be said about it. You've made it here to the end of the video. You know I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. And if you're new to the channel, hey, that's awesome. Welcome. Make sure you subscribe so I can definitely see you back here next time.